What's up, guys? We have another tier maker list. This is following the base set. Now, I went ahead and jumped to conclusions that pretty much all the trainer cards suck. Trainer cards are not that exciting in base set. So the only two I do like is these two right here. So we have what is it, Gust or Gust of Wind or something like that, and Lass. Now, I know what you're saying, Waifu Lass, but no, Lass is actually one of my favorite trainers because I do collect first edition base set, and she is kind of seen as like the queen of all the items now, or supporters or trainer cards. She is very hard to grade, and a PSA 10, you're paying a pretty penny for Lass. So that's why she deserves an E tier. And this one's just funny because I love Weedle getting sucked up. Weedle's always getting picked on. He's in the scoop up card too. But yeah, none of these other cards really stand out to me. Maybe Bill, Professor Oak, or Imposter Professor Oak, and the Trader. But yeah, other than that, they're kind of boring. So let's go ahead and get into this set. I'm going to do the hollows last. So just kind of a little suspension there. So we have Weedle. Weedle's going to be solid D tier. I do like the background of the jungle and whatnot. That is another thing I like. I like the backgrounds of cards more so than the Pokemon itself sometimes. So that's really going to be a deciding factor. Stuff like this Beedrill. I mean, this Beedrill's probably D tier, so that might move Weedle up to C tier. So that's how we'll kind of plan things out. We'll kind of play it by ear, okay? So let's go ahead and move on to Staryu. Staryu's D tier. Maybe pushing C tier. He's got a decent background. Jinx kind of sucks. They're going into a D tier. If you're following into the E tier or the F tier especially, you know your card is bad. Okay. Farfetch'd, one of my favorite Pokemon. I do like the colors in the background. However, it is kind of plain. It's going to have to go to D tier. The Trio, I do like this card, but is very CGI-esque. I hate CGI. I very much so like the hand-drawn stuff way more. So that's why that one goes into D tier. So let's change it up. Let's actually get a couple cards up here first. So what would be like A tier card? Now, you know, Diglett, just while I'm thinking of it, I'm going to put that in D tier too, because very CGI type stuff going on. But A tier would have to be this Charmander. Charmander, just being Charmander itself, is just such a cool Pokemon. But the fact that he's standing out in the field, like looking back at this fire tornado, that is just such a cool artwork. And we're going to see that on a lot of these other Pokemon here in base set. So for instance, we have Tangela. Tangela, no one really likes, but such a cool, unique artwork. Tangela being tangled up in his own vines. Just love that look. Some other stuff, we have Dugong, but we'll kind of get to that. Let's moving on. We got Raticate, kind of a plain Jane background, but yeah, gonna have to go into D tier. Sorry, boy. Ponyta, I like the artwork of the Ponyta, but the background just doesn't do it for me. I just don't really like it. Haunter is one of the only Pokemon where it has kind of a plain background that I'll put up in the C tier because it's kind of a dark theme. But yeah, as you come to find out, I don't really like a lot of base set artwork. It's just more the nostalgia of the Pokemon itself. So moving on, we got Bulbasaur. It's going to fit up there into the A tier. I do like the background and, you know, kind of the Pokemon in action. A lot of thought actually went into these starters. And then, of course, when they got to the holographics, they kind of dumbed it down again. I don't know why, but that's just how it goes. Voltorb, I like the neon look on here, okay? I like it. I like the neon sign look. I don't know why. This is almost B tier for me. It's just such a cool, old school card. I don't know why. I just love that one. Another victim of the CGI awfulness is Porygon. I love Porygon as a Pokemon. That's why he's going up to C. And I do get being a like computer type Pokemon. It was important to kind of show off some of the CGI looks, but I mean, who are we kidding? This looks so bad. The background just looks so bad. We're going in the D slot. And yeah, that's that. I wanted to put it up in the C, but I just couldn't. All right, moving on, we have Charmeleon. This guy, he's okay, but he's going to have to go into D tier. I don't like the look of Charmeleon in base set for some reason. Yeah, I just don't. You know what? Let's move these guys up one tier because that's B tier Pokemon that I generally like. C tier, I'll keep Voltorb down here, but I also want to put Farfetch'd into the C tier because I love that Pokemon so much. So that'll give us like more of a spread. All right, moving on. We have Machoke. This one I actually do like in B tier. You know, kind of gives Machop, rather, character. Pidgey is very plain looking. Looks like he's got Windows 98 going on in the background. Ugh, that's going to have to go into D tier as well. Sorry, Pidgey. Magikarp. I love the look of Magikarp. It is just such a cool card. Magikarp trying to bite bait. Such a cool card tying in the artwork to the Pokemon. I love that look. Maybe we'll just have a lot of Pokemon in A tier and we'll go ahead and pick a few to be S tier at the end. Moving on, Caterpie just not doing it for me. Kakuna not doing it for me either. It is kind of cool that he's evolving, but Nidorino, this one was always one of my favorite cards as well. We're going to have to fit into B tier though. It doesn't quite take the cake. Growlithe is plain Jane. Doduo got some character going on, but not really that cool. Drowsy falling in the D tier, not much going on for him. Wartortle, this is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, if not my favorite Gen 1 Pokemon as far as starters go. That's going to have to go into A tier. The background is just not that great. Also, I kind of have a bias for the air card, whereas Wartortle and the stage also. So I just like the history behind that card. Onix, however, not so much. Seal, not so much. Let's just rapid fire a couple of these that are just boring. Coughing, he's got some character to him. Poliwhirl, just not doing it. Let's see. Abra definitely has some character. This is going to be A tier for me. Abra just kind of sleeping by the tree. Just love that theme. Let's see. Electrode, obviously not doing it for anybody. Rattata, he's going to go into C. He's got a little character. He's got a little sparkle on his teeth. He's kind of doing it for me. Nidoran, though, is not. We're going to throw him down in the D tier. Ivysaur, sadly, could have been so much more. He's going to go into C tier. Machoke. Where do we put Machoke? He's going to have to go to D tier. He's kind of plain Jane, too. Well, you know, he's flexing. That'll get him in the C tier. He's got a little going for him. Magnemite, not so much, going into D tier. Ghastly, I do like how there's like graffiti and stuff on the wall and kind of a dark theme once again. He's going to find himself in the B tier, surprisingly. So let's go ahead and move on to Starmie. Squirtle, he's up there. He's going to be A tier, guys. Love him using Bubble. He fits in right with the starters. All the three Stage 0 or basic starters, they look great in base set. You gotta love them. That being said, Pikachu finds himself a step below. They really took the creativity in these three and made Pikachu just kind of the plain Jane of them all. Now, let's see. If we had Red Cheeks Pikachu, that might find its way in the A tier just because I'm biased for that. Dratini. Could have been so much more. They took these like weird photos and just put him in the background. So Dratini, I like his stance as far as Pokemon goes, but background not so much. However, the Dragonair is going to definitely find itself in A tier. If you guys haven't seen this artwork and the icebergs and the Aurora, this kind of cuts off some of the picture on this tier maker. But Dragonair is probably one of the best artworks in the base set. Moving on, we have Sandshrew. That's going to find itself in D tier. Dugong is the same level with Dragonair. The background just makes the card pop so much more. Metapod, not so much. Electabuzz. Electabuzz almost found himself in the E tier. I saw he was down there. Arcanine, one of my favorite Pokemon, is going to find itself down in D tier as well. But yeah, we got Vulpix. That's going to be D tier. Pidgeotto, I do like the Mist. It's kind of fighting for that C tier. Let's go ahead and put him into the C tier. Who else do we have left that's not a holo? We have Kadabra. Plain Jane background, gonna find himself there. Now with the holos, I know they went for more of a simple look, but we're gonna go off their stance more than like the background because they didn't want to do too much on the background. They wanted to leave, a pretty simple for the holographic cards. Oh, we do have a Magmar. That's gonna find itself in the C tier. I do like the pose there. So yeah, Alakazam. I don't know what it is. Alakazam finds itself in the A tier, guys. Alakazam is so cool. It's one of those Pokemon that doesn't need a specific stance. It's just standing there, looking straight on at the camera, controlling with his mind. Top of the line card, top of the line artwork for Alakazam. Mewtwo, I feel like he could have done a little more. He's going to find himself in the B tier. Nidoking is going to find himself in the C tier. Ninetales as well. A lot of these cards they just kind of took like a plain Jane stance with the holo. They're going to find themselves a little lower in the C tier. Poliwrath, I don't know. Poliwrath gets a lot of hate for a base set. I'm going to put him in the B tier. He's got a cool stance. He's just looking like he's got some fist going. And Mewtwo's kind of got the hands. So that's why I kind of put them together. I like Poliwrath. I like it as a holo in base set. Zapdos, it's going to find itself in the A tier. I like its stance. It's really simple, but what else do you need with Zapdos? It's got the claws. It's looking like a legendary Pokemon. Stands out for the rest. From the rest, rather. Chansey, it's going to find itself in the C tier. Let's go with the B tier. I like how it has its hands up and stuff like that. Clefairy, just not doing it. It's going to go in the C tier. Let's go ahead and knock out all the C tiers. Machamp, being Machamp, it's just going to go in the C tier. Magneton going in the C tier. Hitmonchan, that will find B tier. I like its stance. It's kind of like the Poliwrath. I like how it goes there. Now, that being said, Venusaur is just kind of plain Jane. It's going into the C tier. I hate how they made like so much effort into the starter Pokemon as far as their basic forms, but didn't really do too much with Venusaur and Blastoise. So Blastoise, I love the card so much it's going to go into B tier, but the stance deserves a C tier, honestly. So yeah, that's where Blastoise goes. Moving on, we got the big three. Raichu, I'm obviously not a big fan of. It's going to go in a C tier, kind of plain Jane. It does have its arms up, so maybe B tier, but I just really don't like it that much. Gyarados, now I like that they gave Gyarados some character. It's going to go into the B tier. If they had a different pose on Gyarados, that's what does it for me. The pose here just looks weird, kind of spiraling down, but then also at the same time, like the face is closer than the tail. That's why it gets smaller. It's just kind of overall a weird pose to me. I never really liked the look of this card. It will feel in the B tier spot because it's got that character, but yeah, overall just, mediocre. Now Charizard, I am not putting this in the A tier because of just popularity. I like that they gave the Charizard character. It's actually blowing flames. It has flames behind him in the picture. It's one of the only cards that have, somewhat design outside of the picture. Now you could argue like Zapdos does because it has the lines and whatnot. Gyarados does. It does have like some water, like a hydro pump coming out of its mouth. I just don't like the pose overall. So yeah, these two cards are definitely up there, but that's why I put Charizard in the A tier. It's just got so much character. So now we don't have any cards in the S tier. So let's go ahead and look at the top of the line, some of these cards that are going to be in the S tier. And I'm going to be honest, guys, there's quite a few as far as it goes. Alakazam, I think, is going to be the only holo that deserves it. I just love how he's number one in the set. I love his look. I love his stance. I love his theme. He just looks so cool. And honestly, guys, I'm going to have to put all the starter Pokemon up in there. I'm not going to go with Wartortle or, the other stages. I just think they gave these cards so much character, you know, simple yet unique and characterized. And they are just so much better than some of these other ones that are more CGI or the plain background. As far as other cards, though, I'm going to have to go with Dragonair. Dragonair, if you look at this card in full, it is just so cool. Dewgong is fighting for a spot there because of the same reason as well as these two guys, but they are not as popular with me as the other ones. So that about does it for my tier maker list. I got Alakazam as a holo in the top, the Soul holo in the top S tier. I got the starters because they just look so great. Just the artwork on them stand out just from all the rest. You can't ask for more there, guys. And then we have Dragonair. Just the background alone, the artwork is just so beautiful. There's an air version of that card where it has a rainbow in the text, and just so much goes in behind that card. So that's kind of my thoughts, guys. Do you guys agree with my list? Do you guys have a similar list? I'll have this in the description below if you want to do this yourself. What would be your S tier Pokemon? What's your top Pokemon for base set? Let me know below, guys, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.